What are you doing in Paris?
I'll take it. This too.
It's 500 for the belt and 2,000 for each bag.
Great. I'm a personal shopper. Kira's very high profile. Hey, Kira. She can't do normal things, so I assist her.
You have nothing better to do besides dress Kira?
Hi, welcome to About the Flick. I'm Christy. That's Bibbs. It's Alonzo down there. We're going to talk about Personal Shopper, which came out last week, at least in like New York and LA, but is spreading throughout the country. Shopping in your direction.
Like a virus.
Yeah, so Kristen Stewart goes shopping. It's 2 hours of Kristen Stewart shopping, but yeah, Alonzo's going to describe it to us, please.
Kristen Stewart reunites with French director Olivier Assayas, with whom she worked on Clouds of Sils Maria and became the first American to win a César Award. This time she's in the lead as Maureen, who is a personal shopper, but that's not all. She's also a medium, and so was her twin brother, and he died recently, and so she's trying to make contact. And this is a movie about people who are kind of stuck between one thing and another, which is not the most uncommon state of being for people in their 20s. Take a look.
I'm lost. I can't tell whether or not I'm going crazy. Louis, is it you? Or is it just me?
The movie pulls off a lot of tonal shifts, which would be tricky and difficult, but does it with great grace and like surprising power. Because as you're describing it, it just sounds like, what the hell is this movie about? Like, she shops, but she's psychic. She's a psychic shopper. She's an American in Paris. Like, it's a lot of moving parts, and it glides so beautifully between these moving parts, and you never know where it's going. And then there's this surprising emotional punch to a film that's pretty understated, and I mean, to use the word that's obvious, it's pretty haunting the whole way through.
Yeah, that's one of the things I love about it. A lot of, because a lot of people are calling this a horror movie, and I think it is, but it's also a serious drama that isn't a horror movie. I think this is a movie that sort of allows for that there is a real world in which there are elements of the supernatural, but they're not the focus of everybody's day and everybody's time. And so we can do an entire extended sequence of her. She's a personal shopper for like a famous supermodel. She just goes out and does all of her
Is that what
errands.
she is? Is she
They
an
never
actress? Is she a model?
say.
I believe it was. I believe she was a model.
I mean, because she could just as easily be an actress, because it's all kind of a blurred line. Like, we know she does photo shoots, we know she does red carpets.
Yeah.
But we don't know what she does.
I think she's none of this. I think she's just famous for being famous, and people want to dress her because she's famous.
Well, and she has a foundation too. We know that much.
But that just like is the facade
well, exactly. Yeah, she could
substance.
she could be a socialite. I mean, it doesn't matter.
I think she's just like famous for being famous, but I kind of like the vagueness of that too.
Yeah.
Kira.
But yeah, you can spend an entire section of the film on that, and it's interesting just because Kristen Stewart has really revealed herself to be an exceptional actor who can control a scene and be charismatic even when she's doing very little, at least when she has the right material. And then there can be this whole series of scenes where she starts getting texts from someone who may be her dead brother. And the movie can just focus on that. And there can be a lot of doubt and a lot of wonder and a lot of mystery and a lot of This movie makes texts scary. I didn't think you could do that.
Tense,
Like, there's a great scene with just with texts. That is just a text, like this is how you should do suspense.
Yeah,
it's so good.
For all the contemporary horror movies that try to use sort of current, technology or social media as a conduit to horror. I mean, I kind of like Unfriended, but usually you get something like one missed call. Yeah, you're right. There's a text. You'll never look at airplane mode the same way again.
Oh yeah,
say that. So this movie is, I think, effectively kind of suspenseful and tense at times, but it's also, like I said, it's about sort of people being stuck, and it is what's great about Assayas here. I mean, he varies from film to film as far as what mode he's in, but this is a movie where they don't really sit and explain much to you at all, but almost everything that happens has some meaning to it. Like, there's no sort of wasted motion, to the point where there's a scene where it's a thing that she's never supposed to do, but she tries on one of the outfits that she has bought, that she has shopped for her client, and Dave and I had a 15-minute conversation about the meaning of that outfit. Like, there was so much sort of visual cues going on.
Or the sparkly one.
The harness with the kind of with this transparent sheath over it.
Yeah, well, because so much of this movie is about being on the outside looking in, either being on the outside of life. She's really not very engaged with her friends or anyone around her.
She Skypes with her boyfriend who's in Oman.
She does eventually cop to feeling jealous of her very successful, very popular, very famous boss. But she's also on the outside looking in, like looking across the veil, looking at death, worrying about death. Her brother died from a congenital heart defect that she has too.
Right.
So she could die at any time as well, and this is weighing on her. And as she tries to speak to the dead, we do see like a ghost like right away, like early on in the movie. There's no doubt whatsoever, but it's very enigmatic, and the messages we receive are very vague, and that even ties into the whole like text messaging concept and the way we communicate with each other and through technology, where it seems like you're getting a lot out of it, but you're not getting the information that you need.
Yeah, the thing with the ghost is funny because it could have been silly. And it's not. It's handled in such an artful, delicate way with such mystery that it's unsettling but very beautiful at the same time. And the thing with Kristen Stewart in this is that she has to be a different person with various people she sees throughout the day, right? Whether it's the people who want to buy this house, or it is her, I guess, ex-sister-in-law, her brother's
girlfriend,
yeah.
Or it's the people she works with at Chanel or whatever boutique she's at. But she's always authentic in each of those modes. Like she has to shift pretty quickly, but you never feel like you're watching a false version of her. And I'm not explaining it very well, but it's a tricky thing she pulls off where you always feel like you're watching an authentic version of this character, even though she is many things to many people. And she's jittery a lot of the time and talks very fast and talks with her hands very quickly. But you also feel like, despite the wandering, there's a command of herself and a sense of self that's very powerful that guides her.
She's amazing in this movie, and there are still corners of the internet that are like, Kristen Stewart, she was in Twilight, and that movie ruined Comic-Con. It's like, get over it, people. Like, go see certain women, go see Clouds of Sils Maria, go see this movie.
Go see Panic Room.
Dude, in Twilight, she like leaps 53 through the air and eats a puma. Like in midair, like that's awesome, and she sells it. I'm gonna let her have it.
She is and I don't even necessarily crap on all the Twilight movies, but
the Bill Condon ones are fun.
The Condon ones are fun.
Last one's great.
Yeah, they're fun.
But so yeah, I mean, she is a terrific actress, and this movie I think really gives her, like you say, the chance to play a lot of different versions of a character, and to speak volumes without him to talk at all.
It's such a, I'm so glad you brought that up, because that is such a difficult thing for an actor to play. The idea that you're supposed to have a strong, defining character, but that you do modulate that performance with every single person you interact with. And in this, particularly in a film like this, in which the power dynamic between her and everyone she talks to is sometimes enigmatic, but it's usually her at the bottom of that totem pole, so she has to adapt to other people. So many of the characters, even like the great characters and performances we think about in history, are people who have sort of an indomitable will. And they're allowed to sort of impose whatever they are in whatever scene, and we sort of look up to that and we respect that, and we think that's star power. This is great acting. This is star power coming through great acting, because it always feels consistent, it always feels strong, but it adapts to every single scene she's in. Like this is an impressively modulated movie in every way from a directorial perspective, because it just switches genres on you a couple of times, and yet it always feels like a coherent piece.
And the clothes are great.
Really great clothes. The ending of this movie, I'm not gonna tell you what it is, because it's actually kind of understated, but creeped me out. Like it left me unsettled at the end. I'm like, oh, I don't know how I feel right now.
And it's very moving. Surprisingly, for an understated film, it's a very moving final shot there. Yeah, the silver dress is great. Whoever did the costume design, good job. Okay, so what are our numbers then?
I gave it a 9. This is this and Get Out are sort of my contenders for my best of the year list later, I think.
It's a really good year for horror so far. I think a lot of exceptional films are being released in the genre. I saw some more at South by Southwest. So this is one of them. I gave this an 8.5. Okay. I think maybe it's a little dry in places. It's a little, but that's the only thing keeping it from being like a 9. Okay. Like it's super great.
8.3. So our number is an 8.6. It's 79% on the tomato meter, which is very surprising to me. So if it's trickling out near you somewhere, please go see it. Bye.